And while those 5 ballot questions were expected when voters entered the polls today, one of our viewers reached out to us concerned due to a 6th ballot question that came across this morning when they went in to vote.
Western Mass News reporter Reagan Stoddard joins us live after getting answers. Reagan?
Abby and Chris, as voters continue to make their ways to the polls this evening, we want to keep them informed about the possibility of a 6th ballot question.
Before voters made their way to the polls on November 5th, many reviewed and prepared themselves for any and all ballot questions they're expecting to cast their votes on. Bill Trohan, a Westfield resident, tells Western Mass News that he made it a point to educate himself on all 5 statewide ballot questions, but he was not prepared for a 6th question on his ballot.
I was surprised that there was a question number 6 on there.
The 6th ballot question reads, shall the representative for this district be instructed to vote for legislation to create a single-payer system of universal health care that provides all Massachusetts residents with comprehensive health care coverage, including the freedom to choose doctors and other health care professionals, facilities, and services, and eliminates the role of insurance companies in health care by creating an insurance trust fund that is publicly administered? Now questions are being raised by those who voted today.
My biggest concern is why wasn't this put in the Red Book? Why wasn't this advertised?
According to masscare.org, question 6 is a non-binding public policy question. If approved, it could allow legislators to approve Medicare for all. Masscare.org also says the question is only on the ballot in certain districts across the state. In Western Mass, that includes the 3rd and 4th Hampton districts, as well as the 3rd Berkshire district.
Again, this 6th question is non-binding and can be used as a tool to gain support in the district. Reporting live in Springfield, Reagan Stoddard, Western Mass News.
Reagan, thank you for that live report. And while voter turnout is crucial, the popular vote doesn't determine the outcome of the election. That's determined by the Electoral College, which can be complicated and sometimes confusing.
So we